Welcome to today's Cup of Crazy. It's slippery out, so I'm not very good at walking backwards. Um, Today I wanted to talk about how someone asked me if I was a doctor, and I said no, because I'm not. And that was the end of the conversation, and it's like, I don't mean to be arrogant or anything like that, but I might know a few things about some things, right? I've been sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. I I got pregnant when I was 18. My son's dad, it didn't work out with us and he beat me up or whatever. But, I don't wish him bad. I really wish him good. He was a way different person then than he is now. And I never kept my son away from him. But my son didn't meet him till he was 20 years old. Then my brain bled when I was 37 and I had a stroke, and pretty well half my body was pretty much paralyzed, and lost my job. They're still holding it for me. I know it's like 7 years later. They still are. They're great. But I lost my job, my truck, my spouse of 20 years. And, I don't blame him, right? Sometimes stuff just doesn't work out and you're on two different planes, right? Maybe I didn't get better fast enough, but it doesn't matter, right? I right? It just doesn't matter. It wasn't the right thing for either of us. And that's okay, right? And I didn't stay with my son's dad because my dad was abusive and an alcoholic. Right? It's like, I didn't want my son to have to go through that, right? So maybe I do have post-traumatic stress disorder, but the thing is, right, like, I know a lot about having to let stuff go. Like, I was a really angry person and a hate-filled person, and I was I was really like depressed at times, right? And I'm not saying I don't sometimes get depressed or whatever. I have feelings. I'm, not a complete cold bitch. But sometimes that's stuff like that's gotta happen, right? Because there would be no testimony without a test, right? can either destroy you or make you, right? Make you a better person, and you realize things about yourself. But some people, they can't let that go, right? And it's important to let that go, right? And I'm not saying this stuff to get people to feel sorry for me, right? It's why let situations take away your joy. That's what I've come down to, right? Why let situations take away your joy, right? This guy came over today to hook up the gas stove, and I know it's a long story, it's taken a while, but whatever. Anyways, this guy came over to hook up the gas, and he was like, well, you know, you just gotta accept Jesus into your heart. And I'm thinking, a lot of these people, they look at me with pity. And the the real thing is, I actually feel more sorry for them sometimes, right? Because they think they're more holy than you, or more rich than you, or whatever, more successful. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you think it about me or another person, or what I think about another person. It matters what I think about myself, right? And I do have a Christ mind set, right? And there's a lot more to it. There is. It's like, it's, if I didn't, I probably would have killed myself already, right? It is a war in your own head. To know that certain people think that now you're only qualified for certain things. Well, maybe you believe that, but I don't, right? I think I'm amazing. I think I love myself, and maybe that's what it came down to, having to give up all that stuff, and to be taken out of those situations just to find myself, right? Just to find myself, why should I feel bad for what other people, how they wronged me? That doesn't make me look bad, right? That doesn't make me appear guilty or be guilty. In some situations, I couldn't control, and some I put myself into, right? I knew better. I still just did. You can't be too hard on yourself, and you really gotta love yourself. And it's a lot harder than it seems. Like, a lot of people are lacking self-confidence and think that if they, you know, love themselves, that's like being a narcissist, or they're arrogant, and it's like, no. Why should you feel bad about yourself? Why would you do things to feel bad about yourself? right? And the best way I could glorify God or the universe is by showing myself love and feeding my mind good things and trying to feed things that make me happy or bring me joy, or the food I eat is different. And some people think that exercising, right? Because I got a pretty banging body. I don't mean to be like braggy or anything, but I do. And some people view it as it's a vanity thing, and it's like, no, I hated exercise, but is it possible? Yes, it is. And see, sometimes the biggest barrier people have is their mind. And it is their mind that stops them, right? Things aren't possible if you don't try, right? If you can wiggle a toe, right? And the next day you'll be stronger. But the exercising thing, it wasn't for vain reasons. I did it to because I knew I'd be better the next day, right? And if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be where I am today and be able to even walk, right? I was in a wheelchair. I had to learn how to speak again. I had to learn how to walk again. Like I've almost drowned on my own spit. I've had to have people cut my meat. I've had to have people shower me before, right? And I may not be a doctor, but sometimes, I do know a lot about stuff, and it doesn't mean that if shitty stuff happens, it should take away your smile or your joy, right? Just because something bad happens, and it's like, why let that affect anything, right? And I know there'd be people who this is gonna trigger, but people do worship other gods. They make money their god, or sex their god, right? And they're chasing after stuff, but it might be because of some childhood wound, right? Because they don't really feel good about themselves. And they should be proud of themselves. They should, like, I don't like looking back in the rear view mirror, but sometimes it's good to see how far you came, right? Don't stay there though. Anyways, you know, having a Christ mindset, it doesn't mean being, well, it means striving for perfection, but it doesn't mean being perfect, right? I'm not perfect. I smoke cigarettes, I swear, right? But these are things that I know and I'm aware of, and I know I need to work on, right? And it means approaching everything with love, right? Everything, you understand things like maybe this person, you see things differently. Like this person might have hurt you because they're actually hurting, right? And I all the times that people have inflicted abuse on me, I looked at it differently, right? I looked at it as they were trying to have control over me because they felt like they didn't have control, right? They had issues that they hadn't dealt with. But I put myself in those positions a lot of the time, right? And I didn't have to. Anyways, we're gonna say anyways again. I like this sucker. Be proud of yourself. Love yourself for who you are, right? Flaws and all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone did to you or what other people think you are or who they say you are. It doesn't matter. What really matters is who you think you are, how you treat other people, right? Because really you're accountable to yourself, right? And inevitably to the universe, right? If you do shitty stuff to people, shitty stuff's gonna happen, right? And it will eventually catch up to you. So why would you want to do that? Don't sabotage yourselves and, you know, love yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive your inner child, right? Maybe you would have did things differently knowing what you know now. But that's okay. You didn't know that then, right? You felt powerless maybe. I don't know. Like sometimes when you're a little kid and an adult does something to you, it's like, okay, it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. Right? I was gonna say anyways again. Holy shit, guys. I don't know why that's today's word. Anyway. Anyways. I'm gonna get out of here because this is bullshit.